Hello and welcome to class. Thank you for clicking on this video. This is No Fit. So in this class, I'll be teaching us how to take accurate body measurements. Before you can be able to get a perfect fit of a dress, you have to get the accurate body measurements of your client, alright? So whatever design or style that you want to make, ensure that you get the accurate body measurements of your model or your client, alright? So I'll be using this as my model because before you measure your client, you should ask the person to wear a very fitted clothes so that you won't have some excesses adding to the fit, alright? So that is why I want to use this. Because this is the bare body, alright? So if I'm measuring like this, you should know that I'm getting the accurate measurements for this particular model, alright? So if you want to measure your client, do well to ask them to wear a very tight body hug dress to come for the measurements, alright? And again, another tip for measuring is that when you want to measure, always stand by the side of your client. Do not block them. Alright, it's not really professional to block your clients when you are measuring. Just stand by the side, alright? So always communicate. Another thing is always communicate with your clients, alright? So whatever you're measuring, ask them questions so that to avoid when you're done with any design that you want to make for them, they'll be like, this is not what I want or something, but communicate with them, alright? So we'll be moving to it. Now, these are the measurements that I'll be taking from this model. You have your upper region and the lower region. So for the upper region, the first measurement that I'll be taking is the shoulder measurement, alright? The shoulder width, and this is how to measure it. I hope you can see it very well. I'll have to be rotating this, alright? This is how to measure it from one of the shoulder bone to the second one, from the first shoulder bone to the second, alright? That is your shoulder width, okay? Then when you are done measuring that, you record it, alright? Then the next one is across back. Across back this is how you measure it. This particular measurement is very important if you are drafting your bodies. This is how you take your across back measurements, okay, for your client or whatever model you're using, okay? So this is how you measure it. Then across chest, that is or across bust, this is how you measure it. Alright, this is how you measure it. It's very important if you want to draft the armhole of your bodies. Okay, so whichever one you are doing, just measure it accurately. Okay, then the next one is upper chest circumference. Upper chest is above the bust, the circumference above the bust, and this is how you take it, the round of it. Just take your tape, round it, and then like so, and measure. Alright, if you want, the reason why you should communicate with your clients is you maybe ask them if whether they want it fitted or a bit loose and all of that, but the essence is fitted, alright? So from the back you also control it so that it's not dropping too much, alright? Then the next one is bust circumference. The fullest part of the bust is the bust circumference, like so. You take the measurements like this. Can you see? The fullest part. You take the measurements like so and then you record. Then another one is the bust span. This is how you measure the bust span. Another name of it is nipple to nipple. From one nipple to another. Actually, you don't really, if you are measuring your client, you don't really have to place it on their bodies, alright? You just use your eyes to gauge it like so. You should be able to gauge it with your eye instead of placing it on their nipple. It doesn't feel okay, alright? Just gauge it with your eye. Then The next one is the waist circumference. The waist has the upper waist and the natural waist. Alright, the lower waist and the natural waist. So we'll be measuring the natural waist for the upper region of body's measurement. So this is it. Or you ask your client to bend. Alright, that part of the stomach that goes inside, that is the natural waist. So you take it from there. Alright, you take the measurements around them. Okay. So the next one is the underbust. The underbust measurement is taken like so. The underbust, just from the name underbust, under the bust, alright? You take the measurement like so. Then you record, make it tight because you'll be drafting it on your pattern, alright? Like so. So whichever one you measure, you take the measurement. Then the next one is bust point or apex. You take it from the shoulder to the nipple. That is the bust point. From shoulder to nipple. This is how you measure it, from shoulder to your nipple. Alright. Then shoulder to under bust. This is how you measure it, from shoulder. You pass it across to the bust and then to under bust. Alright, you take the measurement, just leave it like so, like this. Okay, because this bust is taking some parts. Don't take it straight like this. Make sure you pass it under like so, because the bust will be taking some part of your dress. Alright. Then another one is front half length. The front half length is from shoulder to your waistline. That's just the easy name, alright? Another name you can call it. This is how you measure it, from shoulder to your natural waist. But make sure you pass it to the bust and then to under bust like this. You pass it to the bust, then to under bust like this. Then you can leave the shoulder one. You can just ease the shoulder. Use one of your hand to control here. Hold it and then measure. Alright, you record. Please do not make it straight. Always remember to pass it under. Do not take it like this, because the bust will be taking, if you measure it like straight like this, when you are done making the dress and the bust takes some part of the dress, it will affect the length. So always pass it under like so and take your measurement. Alright, then the next one is the back half length. The back half length and the front half length are not the same. They are not the same because of the bust area at the front. So there is no bust at the back, so it will affect the length. So the back half length is usually shorter than the front. Alright, with some inches, about 1.5, 2.5, 2 inches, depending on the size of the model. Alright, or you can just measure it like I'm doing now. I have my front half length of these bodies as 16, but this one is 14. Can you see? I'm just taking this line. There is a point here on the mannequin. I'm just taking it. So I have here as 14. So the difference is 2 inches. So that is for the back half length. And I will be showing you how to alter all of these things when we are drafting the bodies. Alright, so we'll be moving to the lower region. The first one is the lower waist circumference. This is the natural waist and this is the lower waist. This is usually important when you are measuring a skirt. Alright, because some people want their skirts to be here. They don't actually, especially when it's an elderly person, alright, they actually like it wearing their skirts like so. So this is, but always communicate with your client, alright? So this is the lower waist. You measure it like so. Then the next one is upper hip. Upper hip is the upper part of the hip, not the fullest part. Alright, because there are some measurements, there are some styles that will be needing your upper hip measurement. Some styles like cut corsets and all of that. All right, so you measure like so, the upper hip, and then your main hip circumference, which is the fullest part of the hip. This is how you measure it. You should be able to identify it. The fullest part of the hip is, you measure it. Okay, you know, there are some persons that have their hip and bum very big, but some persons have hip with a smaller bum. This is the bum part. All right, this is the bum part, but some persons have hip protruding more than the bum. Okay, so this is how you measure it. Just take it in a situation whereby the person has a bigger bum and a bigger hip. Just place your tape to get the both of them at once. I hope you understand what I mean. Place your tape to get the both of them, all right, at once. Then you measure. All right, so that is how to measure the hip. Then from waist to hip, you know, waist to hip is very important in some styles. Okay, in some styles like maybe trouser or skirts, if you are drafting, in fact you need your waist to hip. So it's very good you measure it on your model or on your client so that you don't assume. Okay, then this is how you measure it from the waist part to the fullest part of the hip. You take the measurement. Then another one is waist to knee. Waist to knee, this is the knee part. You measure it from waist to knee. All right, it's very good to take the actual measurement, but in some styles like maybe skirts, you don't actually need to drop it on this knee. You can get the measurements, but if you are drafting it, you do some alterations, because some styles like skirts or CCC skirts or mermaid, you don't actually need to start to take your knee here. You should come up about 3 inches or 2.5 inches above the knee. All right. Then another one is waist to floor. If we are measuring skirts, all right, waist to floor. This is the full measurement. You can use it for skirts, you can use it for bodies or gown. All right, waist to floor. You take it from waist like so to floor. All right, so this is it. You can use this as a skirt. All right, this measurement, or you determine the length. Just ask your client where she wants it to be. All right, then you can just determine the length of wherever she wants it to stop. Then shoulder to hip, measure from shoulder to hip. Always remember to pass it under the underbust. All right, like so, and then measure to hip. Okay, it's usually 24 for some sizes. Okay, then shoulder to knee, like so. Just from the name, it's very simple. Always remember to pass it on your underbust, like so, and then take your measurements, like so. Then shoulder to floor. It's very easy. Okay, so that is that about the body's measurement of a female. Okay, then we will now be going into the armhole, the sleeve rather. So for you to measure the sleeve, you should be able to get everything accurate. Okay, so the armhole, you measure your armhole like so. You measure it like so. You should be able to get it very tight, because if you are altering it, if you are drafting the bodies, you will now add some excesses so that it will be free around the arm region. All right, around the armhole region. So, but make sure you tight it like so that if you make it loose and you are adding some excess when you are drafting, it will be too loose around the armhole. All right, so make it tight like so. That is for armhole. Then for bicep, the next measurement we are taking is bicep. This is the hand, the fullest part of the arm. The bicep, you measure it like so. Alright, take the measurement. You can decide the length of your sleeve anywhere you want it, but you measure it from your shoulder. you can make it your shoulder to bicep. You take the length, this area from the shoulder to this part of the arm is the bicep. All right, you take it. Then the elbow is here. We all know where elbow is. You can take the length on the elbow line, which is elbow length. Then the wrist, you can take it from your shoulder to wrist, all right, which is the sleeve length. Okay, so the elbow, the round elbow, you measure it on your elbow. You can ask your client to keep her hand like so, then you take the measurements. Okay, so because we are using a mannequin and it's not movable, you can just measure it, but always ask your client to keep her arm like so, all right, before you take the elbow measurement. And then the sleeve part, you measure the sleeve around here, like here, not here, because if you measure here and you take the accurate measurement, the sleeve might not be able to enter here, right? The sleeve might not be able to pass through the fingers, so you measure it. You measure the wrist, the round wrist here, like so. I have 8.5 for this mannequin. You take it here so that this particular dress one or mannequin can be able to pass the hand on that particular sleeve. Alright, so this is it about the measurements. And then there is another one, which is the cap height. You'll be using this when you are drafting the sleeve. Okay, and to calculate the cap height, you use your bicep plus 2 divided by 3. Alright, that is how you calculate your cap height, or the depth of crown, which is another name. Alright, so this is it about taking body's measurements, and I hope you enjoyed this class. If you find this video very helpful, please do give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel so that whenever I post another video, you will be able to see it and watch it. Thank you for watching.